Professor Bokpin, an economist, has urged players in the various industries to work around the clock to realize the benefits of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Now, according to him, there is much work to be done to ensure the free trade agreement creates sustainable jobs for Africa.
By academics, industry practitioners, lawyers, business people, and the youth. But much of what has been talked about represent intentions. We have hypothesized gains from the AfCFTA, but there's a lot of work to be done to actually translate these theoretical or hypothesized benefits or gains into actual in a manner that creates decent and sustainable jobs for Africa. That is considered the young continent with more youth than any other continent. Translating the theoretical benefits into actual must tackle inequality and limit the poverty of opportunities on the continent that also fuels migration, insecurity, and anxiety. For the Ghanaian businesses, how do we leverage on AfCFTA with a combined GDP in excess of $2 trillion and a combined population of over 1.2 billion, which is projected to hit 1.4 billion by 2024?
Let's stay on Bokpin because he's asking governments to be moderate with its economic projections so that expectations are not dashed. He made this comment ahead of the budget reading on Friday.
Have to be moderate with our expectations because COVID has done a lot of havoc to our economy. We are not alone, even though in terms of the real impact, we can see differentials across the continent. But broadly, the impact is very pervasive. To that extent, in the presence of higher expenditure, and new expenditure patterns have emerged. That has to be contained. In the face of collapsed revenue envelope and ballooning public debt, there's the need for government to look at the macro framework in order not to throw it overboard and create instability. To that extent, I would urge that we are a bit cautious in terms of our expectations. Of course, you could get disappointed anyway, because budget at its baseline it represents intentions. We cannot substitute that for accomplishment. Beyond the presentation of the budget, that is where work starts. How do we convert all the expectations and the projections into actual and all of that? Just look at what happened in 2020. A couple of months before 2020, let's say November, we presented the 2020 budget. We were very hopeful. The assumptions were there. We'll grow GDP by 6.8 or 6.5%. Revenue grew by this. 3 months into the implementation of the budget, COVID hit. And all the assumptions could no longer hold. And we had to revise that. And growth decelerated sharply.